Not really that big of a fan of reaction style videos, so I don't do them very often, but why not? Let's do this. What's up, my friends? Welcome to an all-new video. I'm U.S. Army veteran Christopher Chaos, and today we're going to be checking out a video that people have been telling me about. I've seen some things on the internet about it and everything, so people have asked me to do a reaction video to it, talk about it, maybe elaborate on some of the things that I see in the video. Some people say that there's some misinformation in there or some things that are wrong or whatever, but that's what we're gonna do in this video. So we're gonna kind of dive through that. So if you are interested in learning about the United States Army and you're not already subscribed to this channel, well then think about hitting that subscribe button. Also click on that bell to get alerts as soon as new videos go live to become a part of that awesome notification platoon. So let's check this out, shall we? So this is a video from Business Insider. And I don't know why Business Insider's making Army video stuff, but I don't know. But it's a cool little documentary, it seems like. I've seen parts of it from Business Insider about Army OSUT, the one station unit training. And this specific one is, I believe, for armor school, I guess is what it is. So you'll see a lot of things in here from that OSUT, and we'll kind of check out what is going on with it. So I will be kind of jumping around with the video. If you want to see the video in its entirety, either before or after, whatever the case is, I'll link it down in the description so you can check that out. So we will jump around in this video a little bit. I'll react to some different things, give my thoughts, and we'll talk about it. So let's dive into this, shall we?
Why are you moving? Why are you moving?
This is Army boot camp.
That was fear right there. And already starting off with the video, I mean, I already know because I've seen parts of it, like I said. It said this is Army boot camp. It's not. This is Army OSUT, or specifically because I think it's for maybe 19 kilos or something like that, or armors. I don't remember. We'll have to check this out. But specifically Armor OSUT, Infantry OSUT, whatever the case is. So it's not boot camp. It even says in the title what Army recruits go through at boot camp, so no. Again, also Army is Army basic training. Boot camp, I think, is Navy, but it's all right. Let's check this out.
Before they join the United States Army, all recruits have to graduate from a 22-week program known as One Station Unit Training.
See, that kind of leads you to think that all soldiers going through into the Army have to go through 22 weeks of OSUT. And that's not, it's specific. So if you're doing specific MOSs, then you have basic training, which is 10 weeks. If you have OSUT, then your OSUT kind of varies based on your specific MOS. Okay, so we're already off to a bad start here, Business Insider.
Also known as OSUT. It happens here at Fort Benning, a 182,000-acre military installation that straddles the Alabama-Georgia border about 100 miles southwest of Atlanta. On day one, new infantry recruits on a bus from the Atlanta airport arrive at the 30th AG Battalion headquarters, where all new recruits are received.
So that is correct. By the way, there's probably going to be a lot of correct things in this that I might point out, some I might not point out, but I'm probably definitely going to point out all the incorrect things. So don't think that the entire video is incorrect. I don't know that, but I am most likely going to point out the incorrect things. But yes, 30th AG, that's where I went. I went to Fort Benning for my basic training, though, not for OSUT, though. And I still go through 30th AG, and I went through 30th AG, showed up on a bus, pretty similar to that. I think it was like, oh my God, like probably at midnight or something like that, 11 o'clock at night. I remember it was pretty late.
Listen up! You ain't got one to hear from you at this point. It's yes, drill sergeant, no drill sergeant. You understand? Yes, drill sergeant! And I'm telling you, you will pass your folders to the front!
The minimum age to enlist in the Army is 17, and the maximum age is 35. The base salary for an entry-level private is about $20,000 a year.
Let's go!
Also have to note, though, that your housing is free, meals are free, so that's right. We'll move on.
30 seconds! Hurry up, find your bag!
Once they're off the bus, the first order of business is establishing the code of conduct. Before they go inside, the new recruits learn some basic commands and standing positions.
Everyone look down at their toes. You should be able to fit a slice of pizza in between your toes.
If you look around, they're gonna see you.
Cause you're taller than everyone else!
Quickly!
I vaguely remember this part of the process. I want to say that when I went through it, because it was so late at night, they definitely weren't like all crazy like they are in this one, you know, all full on drill sergeant mode kind of a thing. I don't think I actually got to experience that until we got past 30th AG and started basic training. I feel like when I was at 38th AG, I remember them being not nice or anything like that, but not full on drill sergeant mode. I don't know. That's just what I kind of seem like I remember. But I remember doing all these basic stuff, learning how to some of the basic stuff, and then went to an auditorium to do a bunch of briefings and some paperwork and everything.
Grab one and go, it's all the same!
The recruits grab the snack that's waiting for
I noticed everybody's got their shirts tucked in. That was, I remember, a funny thing they made us do, is if your shirt wasn't tucked in, they made you tuck in your shirt.
them inside, consisting of a fruit cup, sunflower seeds, a granola bar, and a juice box.
Watch the video, remain silent!
Recruits get rid of contraband in an amnesty room, where they dispose of it by throwing it down a metal chute.
I think I remember that, now that I see this. I don't remember if we did it that way though, but I know we did have like a chance to get rid of any kind of things that they considered contraband and everything like that. I don't remember if it was in a room like that, but maybe it was back then too.
Confused on what you can and cannot have.
The next morning, the recruits report to the barber shop, where one barber has worked at Fort Benning for almost 60 years.
I've been here ever since 1963. That's a long time.
There's a possibility that guy was there cutting my hair. Who knows?
Should have been retired a long time ago, but I wake up in the morning now, I be wanting to come out here and go to work.
Recruits are issued uniforms. They receive a series of immunizations and vaccines.
Sucks.
And get their official photo taken.
That's a little bit more high speed than like the way it was when I got my photo taken. Looks like they got like a blue screen, you know, so they can easily manipulate the background and full on quality. And I have mine, which I've shared my basic training one. If I might have it on screen right now, maybe if I have easy access to it. But we actually, I think, had a legit flag behind us. It wasn't a blue screen that they later superimposed in there. It's not like they didn't have the technology then. I just think it was easier for them back then just to throw up a flag, take your picture in front of that, and they rolled with that way.
Along with myriad housekeeping details that fill up their 1 to 2 week stay in processing.
Hey, sit up straight!
That is, until processing ends. And the time for training finally arrives.
Let's go, grab your bags and go!
We found a company of recruits about to begin training in the armor school.
Those are bridle!
These recruits are about to be picked up and taken to their barracks.
I noticed like earlier they had soldiers like in their camouflage uniforms, the OCPs or whatever. I remember that when I went through 30th AG, we were in our physical fitness uniform the entire time we were there. And it wasn't until I think the last day before we actually started basic training or got picked up to go to basic training that we actually changed into, at that time, it was the BDUs still, but switched into the camouflage uniform then. The rest of the time we were there at 30th AG, we were in physical fitness uniform the entire time.
Where they'll reside for the rest of their training.
Let's go, you guys are going to the front bus, go!
This is the last chance for recruits to change their minds before training begins, like one recruit who decided to stay behind. This short bus ride from processing to their new barracks will be the most peaceful moments these recruits will experience for a while.
The funny thing is that I see that they're on a bus. And the thing that stands out to me is I remember there was like 1 or 2 people I think that I received comments from after I did a video about like the differences between like basic training or OSUT. And I think there was a myths video or whatever where it was talking about some of the myths compared to like Fort Jackson being relaxed in Jackson and everything. And someone had mentioned to me saying that, oh, well, basic training locations that aren't infantry or aren't anything don't use buses. They use cattle trucks and only cattle trucks. Clearly here, you know, they have a bus. And I remembered it from my experience when we went from 30th AG to where I was going to, that we were in a bus too. There are some times where it'll be like a cattle truck, which is just like a stand-up kind of truck that you stand inside of with a trailer being towed, and you're standing inside of it holding onto a bar or something, and then there's buses and stuff. But I remember that person talking about, you know, oh, only the Pogues or whatever do the buses, everybody else does cattle trucks. Well, clearly we have OSUT individuals here at Fort Benning that are doing buses. So I just want to point that out.
What happens next is known as the shark attack.
Run! Hey, go, son! Who you want? You want run! Everywhere you freaking go! Go! Run! Did they say what? Get your bags up right now! Get your bags up! This way! Let's go! You're a tough guy! Go, do something! Do something! That's what I thought! Why are you still not understanding? He just said it!
Well, it's really just a little shock to the system so we can break them down to build them back up. We're breaking a lot of habits from the civilian world, and nothing better than a little shock to the system to establish that drill sergeant is in charge to let us start our training.
Pick up your bag and hold it!
I think I've said this before, maybe in a previous video, maybe it was a live stream, I don't remember, but when I did my actual movement from 30th AG to actual start basic training and we had our shark attack, mine was a lot easier than I feel like a lot of people end up with theirs, because I think it was a holiday or a weekend or something weird like that. So not all the drill sergeants were there. I think there was only like maybe 3 or 4 of the drill sergeants compared to the normal like 10 or whatever drill sergeants that were normally there. So mine was a little bit kind of dumbed down because there was a lot of us and only like 3 or 4 of them. So it was harder for them to focus their attention on as many of us as possible because there's so many of us and only like 3 or 4 of them. So mine was a little bit more dumbed down. Mine was a little bit more mellow than like some of these ones anyways. So that was kind of nice, I guess.
The recruits spend much of the shark attack holding their heavy rucksacks above their heads.
That is not a rucksack. That is a duffel bag. A rucksack looks like this. That's a rucksack. What they are holding are duffel bags.
Which takes a physical toll.
Why is that so difficult?
Yeah, it does
you can't
suck.
pick that bag up. You decided to join the Army and you can't pick that bag up.
Right side back, right side back, right side back.
After
That guy's
about
panicking.
20 minutes, the intensity begins
Looks like
to
it anyways.
subside. And the drill sergeant's tone changes
We only produce the best soldiers in the United States Army.
before training officially begins. After the shock and awe of the shark attack, things do appear to calm down.
Is it a video?
It's a movie.
Alpha 347. I always wanted to be a star.
We found this group of infantry soldiers in week 11.
Wait a minute. Let's go back for a second. I want to go back. This guy here got pretty lucky. For some reason, he's wearing just regular old, looks like civilian glasses, unless they've updated the glasses, which that could be actually the thing. They could have updated the glasses, but that's not usually what the basic training glasses look like, which, like I said, maybe they updated
We
them.
found this group of infantry soldiers in week 11 of their training, practicing on the firing range.
Oh, okay. There's another guy with them, so they must have updated from the other glasses. I think I before mentioned it that they have BCGs, these birth control glasses, because they look horrible. Those ones actually look pretty decent, so that's pretty cool. That's good.
The mood was much more relaxed,
Try to get 8 up on my level.
and their conversations with their drill sergeants are conducted at normal volumes, like when this drill sergeant educated the recruits on the meaning of the military expression 8 up.
Is a piece of 8 up gum good? You don't want something that's 8 up, right? You want something fresh. You break the seal, it smells like olive oil, right? Okay.
That dynamic changes.
That does often happen, right? There'll be certain moments where the drill sergeants will be super strict on you. Sometimes when they'll be a little bit more humorous, a little bit more relaxed, especially like certain training events. Sometimes, you know, they don't want you, like usually on a range, they don't want you super stressed out. I mean, you still need to be super stressed out, but they won't mess with you to the point where you're gonna be handling live rounds and there's potential that someone could go off and kill that drill sergeant. But they're still strict on you, right? Safety and all that other stuff like that. But during certain moments like that, and even other ones too, not necessarily, related to the range, they will be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit cooler with you. So that way, there's times when they need to really test your abilities to handle the pressure, and times when they just need to make sure that you're focused and training properly.
Because we want the soldiers to become more critical thinkers. At that point, we are turning into more coaches and mentors. We dial it back a little bit, so we don't want them frightened. We want them to be comfortable and in a state of mind that is receptive to learning and performing at that level.
There you go. He explains it pretty good right there. He's trying to just make sure that they're focused and adaptive to learning, right? They don't need to be frightened the entire time through OSUT or basic training. There's right and wrong times for that, right? This time is focused on being educated and learning the proper procedures and different things you need to be doing.
You need to pile in until we tell you to stop. You're going to place your back against the wall.
The recruits spend about 5 minutes inside the gas hut. Upon exiting the gas hut, the recruits are told to flap their arms like birds to remove excess gas from their uniforms. According to a drill sergeant, the effects of the gas begin to wear off after about 4 minutes.
It was about that. I remember you had like what they're doing right there. Looks like they're walking in a circle after you were done. You exited the gas chamber, walked around, moved your arms around, kept walking in a circle, gets the CS off your clothing for the most part. Not fully, but mostly. And it does start to kind of like wear off after about like 5 minutes or so.
Some training.
See, they're doing combatives now. Like when I did it, you did the old school hand-to-hand combat, which is way outdated. Combatives is way better.
Moves indoors, like combatives, where recruits learn hand-to-hand self-defense tactics. Family gather to watch their soldiers graduate on NOA field.
They look like soldiers, they act like soldiers, they're carrying their head high.
I'll never leave fallen comrade!
I have trainees that were not alive when 9/11 happened. I think that's pretty powerful, that I still can find American citizens that want to volunteer to serve their country when we continue to ask them to go to combat.
These new infantrymen don't have long to greet their loved ones.
I probably mentioned it during like live streams or something like that. Maybe it needs to be a dedicated video at some point, but I didn't actually get to participate in basic training graduation, so maybe I'll have to give that story sometime. But yeah, I missed out on that.
Get on the bus!
Or say goodbye to their friends before leaving Fort Benning to begin their service in the United States Army.
All right, cool. It was okay. There's a couple little things here and there. They're inaccurate, not that big of a deal, really. Nothing that it would probably mislead you, except for maybe that one thing towards the beginning where it's talking about, all soldiers go through this 22-week, training, this OSUT training, which that's not the case, right? But otherwise, there was a lot of good information in there. It gives you a good idea as far as what's going on. So if you want to check out that full video, hit that up down the link down below if you want to see the full-length video that Business Insider did on OSUT for specifically, this kind of seems like an armor unit, but there's some stuff in there that probably infantry people do. Didn't necessarily focus on some of the newer things that they're doing with like the 22-week version and stuff, but a lot of the basics it did show in there, so check that out. All right, so if you like that video, well, make sure to go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me. I greatly appreciate that. Check out some of my links down in the description to include things like, social media, some links to my website, all that kind of fun stuff. Check those out down below. If you have any questions about maybe, some of the things in this video, things you want to know about, maybe you saw the full thing for yourself and you have some questions about certain parts of it, well, leave some comments down below. I'll do my best to answer what I can. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Christopher Chaos, and I'll see you next time. See ya.